Hey everybody, this is Shihan, and I had a call again with Mr. Horton this week, and it came up in our conversation that we've never really discussed the path to your child's success. And I created this about 3 or 4 years ago, so it's absolutely in place, but it doesn't do us any good if you don't know what the plan is. And what this is about is ultimately you want your child to develop the confidence and the self-esteem to become a good leader. But if you don't know the path on how to get there, it's easy to stray or get lost or forget what the end goal is. So the goal of this video is to cover this and give you a clear idea of exactly how the program works. So ultimately, this video is going to be for the Kids Karate program, and that's for parents with children 7 or older. If you have a little dragon, I have the same plan in place. Obviously, it's going to be different time frame and different vocabulary, and we can discuss that in a different video or in person if you like. But ultimately, today I want to go over the kids program for 7 and older. And this is going to also be for the parents that know that they want that end result of confidence, discipline, focus, and a great leader from their child. But most importantly, they're also willing to commit to that end result. And what I mean by that is a lot of times I've had people come into the program and then after 3 or 4 months, they're like, wow, great. My child's more confident. Thanks. We're going to go do this other thing now. And they just barely scratch the surface because they didn't understand the depth that the program needs to go to really help your child. Your child is not going to develop confidence that's going to stick with them in a few months. That's why it's a 3-year plan, and I want to walk through it today so you know exactly what it is that we're going to be doing with your child. So naturally, if it's a 3-year plan, it has 3 years. And year 1, the entire focus is pretty much around learning how to learn. And so what we do is we're introducing the child to the life skills. There's 6 life skills. They're 2 months each. That gives us the entire first year. And so just getting the child acclimated to understanding what the life skill is, why it's important, and how they're going to use it. Now, within that year, I break it down into 2 different sections. And these 2 sections start to intertwine a little bit depending on how your child learns or how quickly they pick up the life skill. And what I mean by that is the first part of it is the learning. They have to learn what the life skill is. They have to learn, what's an example of it. They have to learn how to do it. Then once they've learned that, then they can move on to phase 2, which is to practice it. And so this cycle is going to repeat 6 times throughout the year as we do each life skill. So your child might spend the first 4 or 5 weeks just learning the life skills because they haven't ever been exposed to it before, and then they start practicing it. Maybe they already have the life skill in place. They learned about it already. They're already demonstrating it. So they're going to be able to spend a lot more time in the practice phase. But ultimately, the whole first year is designed around creating the foundation of learning the 6 life skills and learning what they are and how to use them. Once we start moving into year 2, ideally this is going to be around red belt. Now you're going to start working on practicing the life skills. This point, you're coming around the life skills for your second rotation. And now you're going to be able to say, oh yeah, I remember that life skill. So they're going to spend more time in the practice phase. But once again, we're going to break it down into the 2 elements, which are learn and practice. They have to learn how to practice. Too often, people just kind of wait for things to happen, and then they're like, okay, great, I picked that up now. We want to actively create situations like the blue stripe challenges where your child learns how to create the practice. Now, once they start learning how to create the practice, the second part is they practice the practice. So it sounds a little bit redundant, but again, just because you know how to practice, if you don't do the practice, it's not going to really continue to help or grow in that life skill. So now we've gone through for the second year. We've now are at the apprentice black belt stage and into that program. So year 3, we start to focus on how to internalize. And this is where the magic really starts to happen for those families that commit to this type of program. Now in year 3, they're going around to the life skill the 3rd time. They've learned it, they've practiced it. Now we want them to kind of take control and start showing it with their own initiative without having to be told and guided so much. But as with year 2, we need to break it up into the 2 segments. And those 2 segments, once again, are to learn and practice. They have to learn how to internalize. They're not just going to automatically do it. So what we do is we look for those opportunities when they do it without being prompted, and we highlight that. Hey, great job. You did your chores and I didn't even have to tell you to do them. You helped that person and we didn't even need to ask you to help them. That's when you really know that they're excelling and about to break through to a whole new level of leadership once they're able to internalize each of these skills. Then they practice the internalization. Just like everything, there might be one life skill, they might have a really high belief in themselves and they've internalized that really well, but maybe their communication isn't so internalized. So that life skill is going to take a little bit more work. And that's the great thing about the program. The program, all 6 life skills are going to benefit every child in their own way. Whatever their strengths are, it's going to make them stronger. Wherever their weaknesses are, it's going to help improve. And so once the child gets through year 3, they're now getting in the area of testing for their certified black belt. And they're basically a walking testimonial to the life skills. So again, it has nothing to do with their sidekick or their karate chop or their board breaking skills. Those are all fun things that we do along the way. But ultimately, this is the grand plan that we like to do and make sure that the child benefits for the rest of their life after this 3rd year, because they've internalized the skills. They're going to be able to use them when they start working. They're going to be able to use them when they start a family. They're going to be able to use them everywhere that they go for the rest of their life. So if you have any questions about the program or about how that 3-year plan works, let's schedule a time to talk. And the really great thing about this 3-year plan is this isn't a karate thing. This particular plan is a 3-year plan for karate. But in that black belt parenting program that I'm working with the parents, this is something we create for them at home. So if you would be interested in joining the black belt parenting program, reach out to me, let me know. I can send you the information for that. Otherwise, let's commit to a 3-year plan for your child to help make sure that they're going to be successful for the rest of their life.